At a wedding rehearsal dinner, bride-to-be was giving a speech. She said, "Many of you know me as a girl who has dated many guys. And Tony, my husband-to-be, is not the most perfect of them. As a matter of fact, he can drive me crazy most of the days. But I cannot picture my life without him." And then she said, "My grandmother taught me that you like people because, and you love them despite. You like people because you like something about them, because they look good, they sing great, they make good money, so you like them. But you love them despite the fact that they annoy the heck out of you, or despite them sometimes disappointing you." When I was growing up, my adopted father, Stan, or Stasiu, as some of you know him, was teaching me how to drive, not unlike in many of your lives. Of course, the challenge was that in Poland we don't have automatic cars. You had to know how to switch the gears all the time. So I was extremely impressed with what a great driver my father was. I idolized him because everything I knew about driving, I knew from Stan. He was my role model, someone I looked up to. So imagine my shock when one day we went on a trip to Warsaw, the capital of Poland. For the first time ever, I saw Stasiu, my dad, become afraid and panic while behind the wheel. For some reason, this huge city scared him. Too many intersections, too many lanes, up and down. My dad became confused and less sure of himself. To make things worse, this is the first and only time I heard him curse as he was driving. Not once in my life have I heard Stasiu curse like that time while driving in Warsaw. My idealized image of a great driver, a role model, and teacher collapsed. I saw my dad as not such a perfect driver as I thought he was. Of course, you may remember we grew up in the woods where there was not many highways, and then we moved to a town that wasn't as big as Warsaw is. So my father was less secure in that big metropolitan area. This was probably the biggest disappointment time for me when I realized that my dad is not perfect. That unfortunately there are things that can overwhelm him. Disappointment with people we love, fortunately or not, appears in the life of every single person. I'm sure you can go back in memory And remember when you thought about your mom or dad, oh my God, what did they say? What did she do? I'm sure you can find a time in your life when you realized, maybe I am not such a great mother or father as I thought I was. Maybe I am not a perfect husband, even though I try my best. And when I heard the first reading from the book of Isaiah this morning, my first reaction was, maybe it is about me. Isaiah says, "Woe to you, shepherds. Woe to you because you scatter my flock." And if I am to be honest, it wasn't a pleasant reflection, but a very healthy one. I am not a perfect shepherd. I am not a perfect human being. And I bet there are many people that I, as a priest or person, have and unfortunately will disappoint one day. As a matter of fact, if you talk to our altar servers, they will tell you a story of my evil eye. When they do something wrong or in the wrong time, I usually give them a look. It's legendary by now. They know how OCD I can be with liturgical stuff. Usually I'm a chilled out guy, but when it comes to organizing worship, I'm very tight and direct, and sometimes not so considerate of people's feelings and emotions. So, to tell you a story, last weekend I had one of these moments when I was too direct, perhaps unkind, when instructing one of our altar servers what he did wrong and how it should be done. As a matter of fact, after that event, there was a little drama going on social media, how terrible of a person I am. And my reflection is, you know what, I might be terrible from time to time. Because, first of all, I'm a Polish male, so that is a strike against me. And I can be very OCD about church things. But I did apologize, I begged for forgiveness, and I moved on. But even in the lives of the apostles, disappointment was something very real. You remember in last Sunday's gospel, we heard Jesus sending them out 2 by 2. It was like their first internship. They went out to heal and to liberate. So after a time, the Gospel of Mark picks up this story and says they have returned from their first assignment. And Mark says they were exhausted. I bet they were telling Jesus, you know what? It wasn't exactly what I signed up for. This is not so beautiful as you see in religion books. I can barely feel my feet. So Jesus tells them, you know, I know you are exhausted, I know you are tired, I know you have had it up here, but don't give up. Let's go to a deserted place. Let's have some time to calm down and relax. So they try to escape the crowds. They get in a boat, and they are trying to find a moment of peace and quiet. But once they get to the retreat place, the crowds find out where they are going, and as they are coming, the crowds are waiting for them. I can imagine apostles saying, okay, I am done with that. I need a day off. I'm retiring as of now. But Mark says Jesus' heart was moved, and the English translation is really awkward. It says pity. The Greek word is better translated as compassion or empathy. His heart was moved with empathy. And instead of giving up, instead of turning away on his heel and marching off with fumes coming from his ears, he begins to teach and to heal them. Disappointment is, unfortunately, a part of life of every person. None of our spouses, none of our parents, none of our children, none of our priests is perfect. Your mom, your dad, your husband, your wife have disappointed you and probably will 1 or 2 times in the future. And when it happens, we have 2 choices. We can turn around, walk away, and be hurt, and be crying, and just give up. Or we can allow our heart to be moved with empathy or compassion. We can see the need that exists and overcome our hurt and pain. As a matter of fact, our hurt and pain can make us better Christian, better disciple of Christ. Henry Nouwen says that there is no better healer than a wounded healer. Remember that you like people because they're great qualities, but you love them despite. And at the end, there is no perfect husband, perfect wife, perfect parent, or perfect priest. At the end, none of us is perfect. And there is only one shepherd who will protect us and take care of us every single day. Isaiah says, I will shepherd my sheep. I myself will be their shepherd. Our Psalm 23, that we all know by heart, reminds us, the Lord is my shepherd. God alone is perfect, and that shepherd will always take care of us. Amen.